What up?
What up? We are DV, and today is Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. And I'm glad you're here today, y'all. Whoever's watching, I appreciate you watching this. So I wanted to get into coding. We're all coders. Coding, like technology, coding.
Like programming.
Programming. When you think about it, in life, we use words to communicate. In life, we use our thoughts to to manifest things. We use our words to manifest things. To create. In coding, in order to make something happen, you have to send out a command.
Correct.
You have to start that command open, and then you have to close it when you end it, right?
Right.
In life,
And you also have to execute it.
In life, you have to do the same thing. To get something done, you have to execute it. You come up with a plan, you may say it, you may think it, then do it, then you execute it. But in life, when we want something done, we use our words or we use our thoughts. When we say a word, that is, in some ways, a command, either to yourself or to someone else.
Right.
In life, when we say something, we write down a word, that's called spelling. When we write a series of words, that creates a sentence. That's a command in some way. And in life, when you write a sentence out, you end it with a period. Now, a period is a symbol. In life, we use symbology too. In our lives, in our minds, in our subconscious mind, it uses pictures, images. It's pictorial. It uses, another word for a picture is a symbol.
Right.
To communicate.
Right.
In coding, when you want to program something, in programming, you have to give it a command, open it and close it, and then you're using symbols to help structure this command.
Right.
You're using symbols
To structure that program. Right.
In life, this situation right here, it means in him sitting here right here, and in that way you can think of it as a program. It took certain commands, either mental or physical or spiritual, in order to make this happen. Just the very thing right here in front of you. It also took coding, programming, using images to create what you're looking at right now. Even YouTube. It's coding. A coder built that. Everything you see online, it took a coder, his imagination, his symbols, arranged in a certain way to create that image that you see online. Everything. It's all built through coding, using imagery and commands. Words.
Arranged in a very specific way.
It's the same way we do throughout our day-to-day life. We're talking right now. I'm using words. But to create that word takes a letter. A letter ain't nothing but another symbol. A Y is a symbol. A J is a symbol. An A is a symbol. For what it is, you do your research on that. So, just like coders, we do the same thing in life. We're coders. But we do it different ways, mentally. A lot of it mentally. You know, before we even say the word physically, verbally, we think it. Maybe consciously or unconsciously, but it starts in the mind. The subconscious mind uses imagery. It uses pictures. When you're going to sleep, it's trying to figure out things. And it's doing it. And when you dream in pictures. You have dreams. That's a communication to you. But it's communicating to you in pictures. In picture form.
Right. So, I guess the basis of this conversation is really the relation of coding and reality.
Mm-hmm.
The relation between coding and how it relates to our everyday physical world, right?
Exactly.
For those who've seen the movie Matrix, I'm not gonna go too into that, but those who've seen it and who get it, this is kind of what we're talking about in a sense. You know, Neo was a coder. He was a programmer. He was a good programmer. But the point is, if you understand that movie, if you've seen it, you understand it, then you kind of will have an understanding of what we're talking about in this conversation, about how it relates to the everyday world. Now, if you understand this concept we're talking about, then from there we can go into how you can use coding or code language to create a program, or in other words, a structure or a creation that you deliberately want to create, right? How to use it deliberately. But you gotta understand what each symbol means, or in other words, what syntax, right? That's another word we use in coding, right? Like I have experience with using SQL, SQL, and Python, and in that, to structure, to execute, to write a line of code, there's a structure, and that's what they call the syntax. And how that relates to everyday communication in the real world, well, to even structure a sentence the right way, which is communication, you gotta write the words in the right order, right? So that really opens up something else for me, which a concept that I learned a long time ago was everything, I can't remember this is universal law, but I can't remember the exact words, but basically everything in its proper place. And then everything in its proper timing. But you start with everything in its proper place, right? Yeah. When I say everything in its proper place, I'm talking about priorities. Everything has its priority, everything has its place. And to understand how to create something deliberately, you have to understand, you have to do everything, you have to execute something in the right priority, right? This goes first, this goes second, this goes third, this goes fourth, right? It's the same thing to form a sentence. This word goes here specifically, this word goes here specifically, this word goes here specifically, just to form the right sentence. And that happens with English, that happens with Spanish, that happens with all languages. Mm-hmm. Wrong order, you're not gonna get the right sentence, which communication's off right there and then. So it's the same with coding. It relates to life the same way, right? So we're talking about the building blocks of basic creation is what we're talking about. Yeah. Right? You have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I was going to say, so since we're talking about matters of the mind, essentially, your mind is always talking to you. Or you could call it your higher self. You can call it your spirit. You can call it God. It's always speaking to you. And it's usually speaking to you in some sort of symbology, some type of picture. But your job is to tune in to that message, you know? And a way to tune into that message is to tune into you. The better you get to know yourself, the better you get to know your surroundings and the world around you. And then once you know that, you'll find your relationship to it. See, if you don't if you don't know your relationship, your similarities to the world around you, to the universe, and all the things about it, if you don't see that connection, if you don't feel that connection, you're going to have a hard time hearing the messages that's for you, that your mind is trying to tell you. A lot of times, like I said, it's in your dreams. Your dreams aren't just dreams. That's not just a dream. That's you talking to you.
You talking to you, right?
In symbol form, through pictures. Right. It's a mind movie.
Right. There's nothing outside of you.
Nah.
It's not, even when we're talking about God, I'm just going to say it. It's still you.
It's still you.
You talking to you is all there ever is, right? That's why we had one of our first videos, for you that haven't seen it yet. Check out our video with having conversations with yourself. It's about having conversations with yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the end of the day, this is always just you talking to you. For those of you who haven't checked it out, check it out. And make sure to subscribe as well. Take our time right now to go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Hit the subscribe button and also like this video. That way it'll keep our videos going, and also we keep a connection between us.
And share.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, this is still, at the end of the day, it's all about you. It's about you being in tune with you. Mm-hmm. You know, like I said, for the people that are religious, that's fine. You don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with this at all. I'm just letting you know that if you had a better relationship with you, you'll understand why everything around you works the way it does. It'll start making more sense, and this shit will be less of a mystery. And there's a lot of people out there that's so confused about life. I get often confused about life.
Right.
But when I start to tune in to me, it starts to make more sense, as opposed to being this big mysterious person or whatever, or force out there that I don't know, that I've never seen. You know what I mean? I can't measure. Supposedly, you know what I mean? It'll lead one to think that things are just happening or happening to you.
Right.
Well, in all actuality, because you love yourself, because yes, you are very loved. That's you loving you.
Another way to put what you just said, because you said a lot of times you feel like things are happening to you, right? I know a lot of people feel that way. I felt that way. Even though I know the truth now, I still feel that way at times. But here's the truth. It's not happening to you. It's happening for you, and it's also happening because of you, right? You're the generator behind that.
Yeah.
Right? So it's happening. So remember that. It's happening for you. Always it's happening for you, and it's happening because of you.
Yeah.
Reframe the way you see things. And the things that and then life will change for you. So let me tell you that right there. I ain't saying it's going to forever you're going to have the best life in the world, but I'm saying things will change if you reframe the way you see things.
Yeah.
The way you define them as well. Right? So just as a side note, don't look at it as it's happening to you. It's happening for you and because of you. Just on that part.
Try to imagine there being a whole movie theater and a whole movie in a movie theater going on in your mind. You're the projector. Through these eyes, we are projecting our own reality. That's already going on inside our head. These eyes projected, what you're seeing, what you're looking at is already going on in your head. I know that's a fucking crazy idea, right? But it's going on internally. That's why it's reflecting back to you. What we're seeing is already going inside. It's already going on inside. You're just reflecting it back to yourself. It's a feedback loop. Whatever's going on here, you're going to see it out there, and then it lets you know so you can visually see it or hear it or taste it or touch it and make a decision. Is this what I want still? If not, think about something different. Imagine something different. Project something different.
And there is such thing as, once again, the relation to coding, there is such thing as programming a feedback loop in programming as well. You can literally write a program where it's a loop. You can do that. For those who know how to program or code, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not far from an expert on it. I'm kind of like mid-grade experience with it. So if I'm making any mistakes, if you're in the video, if you know what I'm talking about, I've made some mistakes, go ahead and leave some comments in there, let me know to help me clarify. But once again, that's another note to just let you know that there's a direct correlation between this coding stuff and real life. We really are just, you can say we're all coders, like you said earlier.
I mean, when people get talking about the matrix and all that, life being a matrix, and that's, what's another word they use, an assimilation? Okay, then, where do you think these terms come from? That's technological terms. Yeah. These are
more clues.
Gaming.
Those are more clues.
Why do you think gaming is such a big business?
Right.
Because it reflects what this universe is.
What it really is, right? What this reality.
What this reality is.
Right.
Now how does that correlate with the mind? Okay, you ever heard the term mind is all? The universe is mental? If not, look it up. What that means is everything you see, everything you experience, everything you're feeling, hear, taste, touch, it's all in the mind. It's a mental
projection.
Projection, yeah. It's a mental projection. So it's real, but it's not real. That's why in the Matrix, you see how he tells them, your mind makes it real.
Right.
And that's literally what we're doing. That's what I mean. That's why we say if you can convince yourself of something, you will eventually see it in physicality.
Which opens up a question for me real fast. If it feels real, is it actually real?
It is, because you've convinced your mind that it is. It is now, because now it feels real.
So because something feels real makes it real?
Yes. That's how you're able to...
Sure about that?
That's how it's real now to your mind. That's why you're feeling it.
But everything is just mind anyway, right?
It's real now to your mind. That's why you can physically see it. Yeah, it's a thought, but once you get to feeling it, you're getting the feeling of being happy, you're getting the feeling of being ill, you're getting the feeling of being angry. You start memorizing that. from being angry before, or happy before, or sick before, or sad before. You start tuning into those feelings. Eventually, something gonna happen. Something real gonna happen. Either you'll witness it outwardly, somebody else, or you'll end up in that position.
I guess the question I'm asking is, what's real? What is real?
Real is whatever your mind can conceive of.
Right.
And that's what we should be trying to do. We should be trying to conceive and convince our mind of the things we want to be real in our lives.
Deliberate creation.
Deliberate creation, not just hoping. No, literally tuning into all the feelings. That's why we have memory. So it's our guide. It's our way to tap back into those feelings. You know, a good way to manifest things is tap into the memory of how it happened. Like when you first time you got a car, now you want another car, right? Don't just hope it. Don't just go to work and bust your ass. Get back in the feeling of what it felt like to have a car. Go back to that memory. You need some money? Remember, got a random check? How'd it feel? Tap into that feeling of how it felt when you got that check. Don't just imagine it. Don't just hope for it. Don't just go to work and bust your ass for it. Stay in that feeling of it.
Use the feeling, but then you also have images.
Yeah, use the
Imagine what that would look like, right? Either you've already known what it looks like. Most of us probably do in some way. But if you don't, that's fine. Imagine it. That's why we have imagination. It's a gift. You can create what that looks like. It doesn't have to be based on anybody else's definition. It only has to be based on yours. So even if you have never received that before, guess what? You can still do it because it's coming from your imagination. So you get to say what that looks like, right? So you got the feeling and you got the visuals, right? What else? You got the right words, right? You got to use the right words.
Right words.
Right?
Positively charged words.
Right?
Words. That's exactly right. Like I said, we use words, and that's why we call it spelling. You know, we're creating something just by using these words in a particular way. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We're forming a picture, so to speak. You know what I mean? Think about it. A person can explain something visually to you, and you'll start to imagine it, right? You know, say you never met somebody, I described the person, what they was like to you. Then you start to form a picture of what this person looks like in your head. Mm-hmm. You know, that's spelling. We're all co-creators as well. Let me not forget. Yes, this is coming from your own mind projection. But the reason why I see him and the reason why he can see me is because we're co-creating right now. We're co-creating this moment right now. The fact that you're seeing us, you're involved in this co-creation.
You say you're doing it as well.
You're doing too.
You're experiencing this video because you're creating it.
Yeah, we're no different than you. You're just the same. You have the same exact ability. That's what we're here to do. Create our lives, our worlds, you know, our legacy, whatever you want to call it, our story, our movie.
Right.
But we're doing it from inward outwardly, not the other way around. I say this because a lot of people, when they get into understanding of how to actually deliberately create things for themselves, they get into this mind state and they have this understanding of, so it's me, I'm in charge, right? But as soon as something outside of themselves happens, they give so much energy to it as if it's actually the reason why it happened to you. It didn't create that. You created that, whether you're conscious of it or not. So make a decision. Are you in charge or aren't you? So if you're in charge, then stop reacting to everything around you. You don't have to give it your energy.
Also, stop blaming anything outside. And I'm going to say it because I know a lot of people who are religious tend to do this. Don't blame the devil. There ain't nothing outside of you. So don't blame the devil. Don't blame anything. Don't blame God.
Exactly.
Blame you. If you're going to blame anything. Blame isn't even necessary. But if you're going to I should say give credit to.
Right.
Right? But it's just you.
Yeah.
You know? And you have control over what it is that you're experiencing. You do.
You are the coder of this life, of this reality, your reality. You're the coder.
So pay attention to what you're writing. Pay attention to the language that you're using. Pay attention to the images you're projecting.
Right.
Right? And the feelings that you're giving off. Mm-hmm. The feelings that you're having. Pay attention to that. You are the coder of your program. Mm-hmm. Right? So pay attention to that.
Yeah. So just trying to be empowering here. We're not trying to we're not big religious people. We're just trying to give maybe some insight on how life won't have to feel so random and so overbearing.
And out of control. Right.
Remember, you do have control. Yeah. It's you doing it. Right. But you have to start to understand you more. You have to understand that mind of yours.
Start taking responsibility.
Take responsibility for you and your mind.
Right.
You know? because it really is you. And you love you enough to want you to do well in life. Remember that. You have your back, but you have to change your relationship with you. You got to get back in tune with you. All right? So I say that to say, I love you because I love myself. You should love yourself for yourself. All right? We are DV. I'll let you.